It's the final percent. The final percent. All right, welcome to the Final Percent podcast. We are going to do an impromptu get together with the one, the only Bobby T, Bob Tierney. We're getting ready to go to where, Bob?
We are going to Kenya.
Dude, we're going to Kenya. And we're going to Kenya in style. When we just got off the travel agency was did this thing, kind of an orientation, if you will, and they're telling us where we're going, how we're getting there, these lodges that we're staying in, things that we have to watch out for, things we don't have to watch out for, myths, all these things. And I'm not going to lie, I just kept getting more and more and more excited because I've never been out of the country like this. The furthest I've been out of the country is Mexico or the Caribbean. So like, this is big for me. Like, this is huge. We're going to watch the Great Migration, man.
You know, it was one of the coolest parts for me about that meeting was all of the people that this is their 8th time, 9th time, 10th time going because of how amazing this particular trip is.
Yeah. And
because usually, okay, I'm going to go on a safari. To do the same safari 8 times, it must be special. It must be amazing for somebody to put that much money and time and effort and do it 8 times. I was noticing the other people that are going on this trip with us, and that was what was getting me excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I went and bought what we literally call this the Kenya lens. I went and bought this lens that looks like a telescope so that no matter what, I'm getting a picture of the lion and not getting eaten. This is important to my wife with me being gone. But I've been coaching Bob for a while now, and I realized that the kind of coach that he is, I asked and invited him to be a coach in the Final Percent myself. He's one of our mastermind members, and actually we have 2 levels at our mastermind. We have founding members and non-founding members. He is a founding member. So, he votes on, where we're going. How are we building this? What does this community mean? And the biggest thing that we do in the Final Percent is we look for people who go the Final Percent. And that's, I'll put this into perspective. I was talking to one of the guests. We just got done with the Humble Retreat. We partnered with Ben Humble, did this incredible retreat which Bob came down for. But I let some people stay in my house. And the one of the attendees, we were having a coaching session, and she goes, "You want to know what I really appreciate about the Final Percent?" And I'm thinking, I just feel this, an epiphany coming on. Okay, I didn't realize that it must have been an epiphany, because I said, what do you appreciate about the Final Percent? And she said, 3-ply toilet paper. You guys don't skimp on toilet paper. And I was like,
sorry, could you say that again?
Apparently Siri likes the fact that I don't skimp on toilet paper too. But what I invite everyone to do on this call is don't be the person who skimps on toilet paper. Like I remember, I can't remember the other one, but I took this to heart. Someone was saying, what is like the best things you can spend money on? And one of the things that this guy said was buy the absolute best bed that you can. Because you're going to spend like 30% of your life sleeping. You might as well get good sleep. And the Final Percent is all about those little details and, who you are, how you show up. And to be honest with you, that's like Bob is, I've actually attacked this word a lot recently because I think people are using the word authentic or authenticity. I think that they're using it as an excuse to be an asshole. And so I don't like it when people are like, I want to be authentic. I want to this. Here's the cool thing. Bob is genuine. Like he is just like the genuine article, a genuine human, and he wants to see people win. And that's why I got so excited. And so I'd love for you to just maybe, take the call wherever you think it kind of needs to go. And let's just, have a chat about helping people, have a chat about your experiences, have a chat about, it could be as recent as the humble retreat, as recent as us meeting, as recent as, you meeting Bob Snyder. It doesn't matter. Just let your heart kind of take you wherever you need to go so that we can give some people, hope, clarity, faith, so that they can just put one foot in front of the other and say, you know what, there's still good people, genuine people out there. And I got to hang out with this Bob guy, got to connect with this Bob guy. And I just want to hear more about Bob's story. So Bob, you have the floor. Take it away, buddy.
Well, let's talk about that word authenticity and just kind of some of the experiences I had in my own transformation and kind of personal growth. When we're young and we're coming up, we don't we we haven't maybe discovered who we are yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying, like, as a young man, we're trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to say to get this girl to say yes to go on a date with me? I want to take this girl to the dance, right? And so we're trying to be the guy, right, to get her to say yes, instead of being ourselves, right? And if you ask any girl that has had guys that are trying to get them to say yes or to go on a date, right? What are the girls attracted to? They're attracted to guys who don't care. They're attracted to guys who aren't pretending. They're attracted to people who are themselves. That is a very attractive way of being. And so I think in our youth, we aren't sure how to be ourselves. So we're trying to be somebody that we're not. We're trying to say things that we're trying to be liked. We're trying to, say things that so other people will like us. We're trying to be trusted. So we're not quite sure who we are, or we don't have a lot of self-worth. We don't believe we're good enough, right? Maybe there was some things traumas happened when we were children that has us not, we haven't found ourselves yet. And so we layer inauthenticity over our humanity, almost kind of like, if you can imagine an onion in layers. And so, I'm trying to be this person to make this person happy. I'm trying to say this so I can make this person happy. And we are inauthentic in who we're being, because a lot of us have this feeling inside that if people knew who we really were, then they wouldn't like us, because we haven't learned how to overcome that sense of self-doubt, that sense of lack of self-worth. And that is something that happens from when we're little children. I'll just give you an example. When you're 5 years old or 6 years old, and you're going over your addition tables, and the teacher says, "What's 2 plus 2?" You're like, me, pick me. And the teacher says, "Okay, Bobby, what's 2 plus 2?" And I'm like, "It's 5." And I got it wrong. And all the other kids in the class are like, "You stupid, you idiot. It's 4. And you made a mistake." And all of a sudden the hand goes down, and you're like, I'm not going to make that mistake again. I must be stupid. And we make these mistakes as we're children that have us lose our sense of self-worth. Or we have a parent that thinks that they're doing good parenting, but they don't know how to be uplifting. And they say things to us like, you're never going to amount to something, or you're worthless, or, are you always going to be a bad kid? And they parents say things, in their frustration, and they just don't understand the effect on us as human beings, as little children, which creates our sense of self-worth, and it creates our sense of identity. And so these layers of the onion that we put on top of to try to mask, "I'm not worthy," try to mask, "I'm not good enough," are these layers of inauthenticity. And it gets so, the layers of inauthenticity get so deep that we don't even realize that we're being inauthentic, right? We're not present to how inauthentic we are, because we are now trying to hide this underlying things that even become subconscious. And so when I was coming up in my 20s, and I didn't realize I was inauthentic. I didn't realize I had a layer of inauthenticity around my humanity. I didn't understand how that sense of lack of self-worth created me pretending to be somebody I wasn't. And I'm very grateful for the experiences that I had and the personal growth work that I did and the exercises that I did and I went through in many different amazing conversations and programs and different things in my own life. But I started to have perspective of that. So we don't realize how inauthentic we are until we can literally take a step outside of ourselves and like look at our own humanity and look at the way the machinery of our mind works and actually have perspective of our own humanity, of our own machinery of our brain. And once we have the perspective where we can notice that machinery of our mind, we can notice where emotion comes from, right? Let's take an example of, somebody cutting me off in traffic really bad. And I'm like, that anger is inside of me. I'm like, you NF and you're this and that, right? That anger is an autopilot. It's like popcorn, right? It just occurs inside of the perspective, inside of the interpretation I have. That's where our emotions come from. But once I noticed that emotion was automatic, and I have that perspective I can take outside of my brain and actually see the machinery of my own mind. It doesn't mean the anger doesn't occur, but now I have a perspective. What's my perspective? Well, if I'm angry because this person cut me off, maybe I could have a new perspective, right? Maybe they've had a really bad day. Maybe they were going to miss this turn. Maybe somebody they love is in trouble and they needed to get there to save them. So maybe I could just slow down and let that person go and be grateful that I saw that person and literally in the moment be able to fix that or overcome that feeling of emotion that I have, right? This power, this muscle of being able to notice the machinery of our own mind is a very powerful muscle to grow. Because once we start to notice where our emotions come from, once we start to notice the inauthenticity, the layers of this onion, right, we're able to start peeling those layers of onion away to get down to who am I really? Right? What is the effect of that perspective of being not good enough, right? What are those layers of inauthenticity that I have layered on top of that to try to cover that up? And how can I give that up, right? How can I notice that, and start to change that dialogue, that little voice in our head, right? That I say, I want to accomplish something in my life. I want to make $1 million. I want to build a business that's successful. We start to have these dreams and these emotions and things that we want to create and accomplish in our lives, right? And we start to say things like, I would love to be a business owner. I would love to make $1 million in my life. And then that little voice in our head's like, who are you kidding? You've never done that before. Who are you fooling? Nobody's ever going to, believe you, or, who do you think you're fooling to be able to accomplish this? We start to notice in the machinery of our mind, the dichotomy of who it is I want to be, who I declare myself to be, right? And that past that created that little voice in my head. Here's one of the greatest gifts I was ever given in my entire life, and something as a coach that I would hope that I could empower and give you, is that you are not that little voice. You are who you say you are. You are the declaration to the universe. You are the declaration, right? That you get to say how it goes. You get to say who you are. You get to be the person that you've decided and that you declare that you want to be in the world, right? And you step into, right, who you say you are. You step into the declaration. And so, there's right now in the moment, there's the past, right? All the things that happened in my past that created the neural pathways in my brain that have me experience in life the way that I have today, right? This is what causes depression. This is what causes people feeling inadequate. This is why people don't accomplish the things that they could accomplish in their life, right? And then there's the future, right? So the future is something that I can build, that I can create, that I can declare. And, there's so many examples in my own life of where I somebody said to me, Bob, you're an amazing guy and you could make $500,000 a year. And I'm like, okay, I'm inspired by that. I want to do that. And that little voice was like, yeah, right. Make $500,000 a year. That's crazy. That's, you've never made 100 grand in a year in your life. Right. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Right. Who would I need to be such that I was able to come? Who would I need to be such that, right, I could become the person that I need to become to create that reality into my life of creating income and success. Right. And it truly is about who we're being. So it's about our declaration, we get to say, how we get to say it goes, the things I'm committed to. And then, right, who do I need to be to accomplish that and make that happen? And if it wasn't for coaching, if it wasn't for somebody helping me to understand my own machinery of my own mind, and was helping me to understand the layers of the onion, the layers of inauthenticity, and start to peel those away so I could get to the true essence of who I am and who I want to be in the world, I would have never overcome those things that held me back for many, many years in my life. And today, now I get to play in the sandbox of, let's help other people overcome the same things that have limited them, so that you can live a life that it isn't even the life of your dreams. It's like we get to blow away the things that have held you back in your whole life, so that you have dreams that you never ever before had. There's things that I believe that I'm capable of today that 15 years ago I would never have even believed possible. And this is why I love being a coach, because somebody coached me. And because of me being willing and being more open to being coachable and bringing the coaches and people into my life that help me overcome those things myself, I have a unique perspective and opportunity to work with people in the world that have those same types of issues. Because the more that we learn and grow, together as humans, the more that we were able to help other people overcome. And I believe today that, transformation, I don't believe it like, oh, this ethereal thing, like transformation is something I wish existed. I've literally experienced transformation in my own life. And now I'm so excited to be, again, seeing the final percent as an opportunity to really help cause transformation in other people's lives and help other people accomplish and achieve things that they never even believed or thought that they were capable of. And it's in removing those perspectives and removing those limitations and removing those self-doubts, removing those limited beliefs, that we actually help people to evolve into new humans. Humans.
Just to give everyone some context on how this went down, Bob 0% got a heads up on this, because he literally was just talking about a podcast. Just so for anyone who's watching on the YouTube, I literally was just showing him how I normally do podcasts so it could be easy. We're on our coaching session right now on our Zoom. And as we were talking about literally the technology of podcasts, I was just like, you know what? I thought to myself, okay, Bob is an amazing person. And what do you do? Like, think about it. If you really believe that someone is amazing, something is amazing, your team is amazing, the Avs just won the Stanley Cup, everyone wants to do what if they're an Avs fan? They share the news. So here's the thing. I'm talking to this cool person. We're on our coaching call. We're debriefing after the Humble retreat. Talking about the upcoming TFP retreat, which we're going to do in the end of September. We're talking about a Renatus event that we're going to be actually heading up. And I just thought to myself, I need to share Bob. I'm so excited about Bob in my life. We're going to do a podcast right now, and I gave him literally zero warning. I just said, we're doing a podcast, and he goes, recording in progress. And I was like, welcome to the Final Percent podcast. And I gave him zero warning, zero context. But here's why I love doing it that way, because I know that whatever Bob is going to share from his heart is super valuable. It's absolutely from the heart. But that's what you do with things that you are getting an impact from. You share it. And Bob and I have impacted each other's lives so much so that he won a freaking like $50,000 crazy trip per person to Kenya. And his wife, reluctantly had to say, I don't really want to do that. And so he called me and said, dude, you want to go to Kenya with me? And I was like, I'm going to have to talk to my wife, but oh my God, I hope she says yes. But that's the thing. He is going to Kenya and he immediately wanted to share the experience. He's a part of a really cool organization called Renatus. He shares the experience. He's done stuff in contracting and development and Airbnb and real estate development and education, and he shares that experience. He gets excited about the final percent. He shares that experience. And at some point, I've got to sit here and go, I need to share Bob. I must share Bob with the world. Why? Because he's made an impact on my life, and I love him so much. And the thing that I just thought was so fantastic, where he was talking about, inauthentic things being layered on top of our humanity and us having to peel back our onion and understanding that, guys, this is from his heart. And I thought it was super duper valuable. So just so you know, I'm actually going to probably push this podcast out today. So you're going to be able to see this the same day that we had our coaching thing. You'll be able to find it on everywhere where you listen to podcasts. If you end up seeing this on YouTube, it is the final percent. But the exciting thing and why we're talking about this is I am going to bring on Bob probably a few more times leading up to the launch of his personal podcast, because he's going to be interviewing a lot of the people that he wants to share with you. Because at the end of the day, that's what a network should be. It's not what can I extract from you, it's what can I give to you. And I want to give my community, and I want to give more people on my side of the fence. I want to give you Bob Tierney, because this guy changes lives. He loves helping, and just reach out to him. The easiest way to get in contact with him right now is going to be bob@thefinalpercent.com. There will be other ways to get him, and we'll share his website. But go ahead and email him if you ever want to have a coaching conversation with him, bob@thefinalpercent.com. If you're interested in the Final Percent, just go to thefinalpercent.com. If you would like to come to our upcoming retreat, which is going to be happening at the end of September, I am going to be posting the link very shortly. I just found out about it yesterday that we were actually going to be able to hit our normal dates. We're a little bit behind the 8 ball, but that is not going to stop us from doing this. This will be the 10th year in a row. No, it's not going to be the big conference like we had last year, but we will show up. It's probably either going to be at my house or at Vail or a combination of both. But I look forward to seeing you guys there. And I'm just so honored that I get to be the one to share Bob with all of you. And he is going to be a fixture in the Final Percent so that you guys can experience everything that he brings to the table. So thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate you having and being willing to let me surprise you. And man, boy, you delivered. It's exactly what I think the world needs today. So thank you very much.
Awesome, Greg. Thank you, buddy.